Hey guys, I'm here today to do my June wrap-up video. I do realise that it is the 29th of June today, but the book that I'm currently reading, or that I've started last night, I won't have finished in the month of June, so I thought I'd wrap up a day early. In June I managed to read 8 novels, 1 novella and 1 graphic novel. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that I had quite a busy month, and you know, when I stacked them all together, I was quite shocked about how much that I'd read. So yeah, I was pretty impressed with that. So without further ado, the books that I read. The novella that I read was the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. It's the Penguin Little Black Classics, the 80p one. It has 3 short stories in, I believe. It also has a short story called The Rocking Chair and another one called Old Water. I know that it's semi-autobiographical, the Yellow Wallpaper is. I enjoyed it. I did find it quite a harrowing read for somebody that, you know, suffers from depression and anxiety. There were things in here that was like, my goodness. Yeah, so I thought that was quite good. It didn't take me too long. Nice little dinky book. Don't know whether I gave it 3 or 4 out of 5 stars. The only reason that it didn't get 5 stars, I think, is just because of the subject matter. Because even though the book is beautifully written, it is really cleverly done, the subject's quite harrowing, and it's not something that you would, I think, that you would really enjoy reading. It's good, but you know what I mean, you know. And the graphic novel that I read this month was a graphic novel called Through the Woods by Emily Carroll. I loved this. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I found it quite horrifying. There was one drawing in here. I love the drawings. I think the drawings are amazingly done, and I think they are really scary. But this one like shocked me a little bit. I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, definitely not for children. Not for children. But so awesomely done. Like it's all like this. I think my favourite story was the 2 friends. I'm trying to find it. My friend, is it Jana? I don't know how you say that, but that was my favourite story in the collection. And this is just beautifully done. It's just, I can't even tell you how beautifully published that this is. It's just wonderful. So that was the graphic novel. I'm going to just pop these down here. On to the books that I read. The first one that I read is around BookTube a lot at the moment. It's The Grace Keepers by Kirsty Logan. It is beautifully published. Absolutely stunning, which I know that all you booktubers will know about. I don't think I need to say a lot about this. I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and I will definitely be looking out for more novels by Kirsty in the future. I just loved it. It was beautiful. Then I went away for a few days at the beginning of June, and I read 3 or 4 books while I was there. I think I read 3 books while I was there. I read The Sun in Her Eyes by Paige Toon and the Cake Shop in the Garden, I think it is, by Carol Matthews. I just wanted a really fluffy, nice, easy, romantical read. And these did that for me, so really like them. Then I read The Diary of Anne Frank, who Jane Campbell will tell you doesn't have a sequel. I've never read this. I'm like so embarrassed to say that I've never read this book. so I decided to take it away with me while I had a bit more time to concentrate on it. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, pretty much the same as the Yellow Wallpaper. Really beautifully written. Really nice to see. Not nice, I think that's the wrong words. I don't know how to word what I want to say. It was just harrowing, so that's why it didn't get any higher stars for me. I can see why, you know, that it is so talked about. But again, the subject matter, obviously, you know, the book ends so abruptly, and you know the reasons why it ends so abruptly. So that's why it didn't get 5 stars for me, because it's just hard to know, and I suppose it's ignorance, isn't it? That it's just so hard when you know what her fate was, and so that's why it didn't get a higher rating from me. Then I went on to read Off the Page by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Sam is Jodi's daughter. This is a sequel to Between the Lines, which is a book that I absolutely adored. And I've actually saved it for my daughters to read when they get bigger, because it's a girl who is obsessed with a fairy tale, and when she opens the book, one of the characters in the book can actually talk to her, because it follows the concept that when the book is closed, the characters all have their own lives and they all go off and do their each individual things, and when the book is open, they all get back to scene and they all act out the story, which I thought was really nice and really cleverly done. And this is a sequel which was equally as good, but not as good as the first one. I thought that the learning of the characters was a lot better in the first one, although this one was a little more comical. It was still amazing, but it's not as good as the first one for me. Then I read my first ever Persephone. This is a library lens, you see, with the little dust jacket thing on it. And this is Miss Pettigrew Lives for a Day by Winifred Watson. I've never seen the film. I just knew that this was a retelling of Cinderella. Really enjoyed it. Really nice, quirky read. Didn't take me too long at all. I think I gave that 3 out of 5 stars, because although it was enjoyable, it wasn't necessarily like amazing for me. It was just a nice, quirky little read. Then I read a book called Grey by E.L. James. Now, in my defence, please don't turn off. I am always curious as to why a book is released like this one and people absolutely rave over it, and people that don't read pick this up. So I know that sex sells. I get that. I get that it sells, but I don't get the hype. So maybe I should do a video on talking about why does this tripe get people to read who don't ordinarily read? The only reason that it was relatively enjoyable is because I found it hilariously funny, which I know is not what E.L. James is trying to convey. I think she tried to write a bit of a turn-on novel for people. There were even talks that there was going to be a 50 Shades of Grey baby boom even. Nah. Found it funny. A little bit too much at times. There was a moment with a ginger root that I didn't know whether that was funny or horrifying. So my rating for Grey by E.L. James my next read was Annabelle. Now, I really enjoyed this book, as in the topic that it covered is obviously, if you know that Annabelle is basically a hermaphrodite. He is brought up as Wayne, but the female part of him he calls Annabelle, and Wayne is brought up as male because I think pretty much that's what his father wants him to be brought up as, is male. Now, I enjoyed the book, but it was so disjointed. Like, I found that there were scenes, I don't want to be too spoilerific with it, but there was a scene where he was taken to hospital. And he's taken to hospital because he's got something going on with him and he's really poorly. And then he basically, like, you're hearing all the stuff that's happening to him in hospital. You are aware of why he's in there and what's happening. But then when you think, oh my God, he's really poorly and he's in hospital, and then it will just cut to like 2 days after and he's out of hospital, and there's not really a lot more said about his hospital visit until a lot later. So he's been really ill and he's been in hospital for a reason, but then it's not carried on. And it happens like this with certain things in the book where there's an attack and then it's really gruesome and really horrible, and what he's going through is awful, and then it just ends, and then it's like a week later and nothing more is mentioned, really. It's sort of glossed over, and I kind of felt like if you're gonna write these topics, like, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know like how the character felt after being attacked. I didn't necessarily want all the mega gory details, because you got that, you have your imagination for that, but then I just thought that it was too quickly pushed along and moved along. So it was good and I did enjoy reading it, but for me it was a little bit too much. Like, this has happened and then that's it, and he went to hospital and then that's it, and then he's feeling really down in the dumps and he feels really shit about stuff, and then that's it. And I wanted it to sort of develop the story a little bit more, which is, some people, I've seen reviews of this and some people have picked it up and loved it. For me, just not as much, which I feel awful saying that, but I enjoyed it. I don't think I'd reread it. I wouldn't necessarily not recommend this book. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. For me, I was borderline. If it wasn't so beautifully written, I wouldn't have scored it so high. But there we go. I'm really sorry that was sort of mismatched, and if you are an E.L. James fan and I offended you by throwing the book over there, I am so sorry. If you are an E.L. James fan and you love stuff like that, then maybe try sort of Jackie Collins or something that has a little bit more story as well as the sex. Just saying. I'm really sorry that this is a bit higgledy-piggledy and I'm a bit fidgety. I'm slightly concerned that Brian's going to eat all my books now, so I'm going to go. If you've read any of these books, then please let me know in the comments down below. If you have any comments on E.L. James, again, please leave a comment down below. I'm probably opening a whole can of worms doing that. And yeah, so I'll see you in my next video, which hopefully won't be so fidgety and I won't be fearing for my books' lives. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.